Joe Biden, weighing a 2020 White House bid, once advocated continued school segregation in the United States, arguing that it benefited minorities and that integration would prevent black people from embracing, quote, their own identity. Biden was speaking in 1975 when he opposed the federally mandated busing policy designed to end segregation in schools. And if you remember, Kamala Harris viciously attacked him about this. So did Cory Booker. And then, of course, asked Joe Biden to apologize. He would not apologize. He said they need to apologize. They know better. In the past few decades, he has claimed he wanted desegregation, but believed the policy of busing would not achieve it. Last year, he stated that he had voted heroically to protect busing. He was on National Public Radio when he talked about this in 1975. And so just listen with your own two ears here, and you tell me what you hear. Again, this is not 1875. This is not 1930s or 20s, before the Civil Rights Act, before the Voting Rights Act in 64 and 65, I believe it was. This is not 1905. This is Joe Biden in 1975. Cut 12, G, roll it.
There are those of we social planners who think somehow that if we just subrogate man's individual characteristics and traits by making sure that presently a heterogeneous society becomes a totally homogeneous society, that somehow we're going to solve our social ills. And quite to the contrary, I think the concept of busing, which implicit in that concept is the question you just asked, or the statement within the question you just asked, that we are going to integrate people so that they all have the same access and they learn to grow up with one another and all the rest, is a rejection of the whole movement of black pride, is a rejection of the entire black awareness concept, where black is beautiful, black culture should be studied, and a cultural awareness of the importance of their own identity, their own individuality. And I think that's a healthy, solid proposal.
So if you listen to that, what is he arguing for there? He's arguing for segregation, is he not?
Yep. 100%. What else could he be?
I mean, that is absolutely what he's arguing for, and what the article here in the Washington Examiner talks about. He says that, run it again, G, so we can just, and we may stop a couple times. Just start it from the beginning.
There are those of we social planners who think somehow that if we just subrogate man's individual characteristics and traits.
So what individual characteristics and traits could he be talking about other than skin color? Is there another one? Has to be. That's what he's talking about. Go ahead.
Making sure that presently a heterogeneous society becomes a totally homogeneous society, that somehow we're going to solve our social ills. And quite to the contrary, I think the concept of busing, which implicit in that concept is the question you just asked, or the statement within the question you just asked, that we are going to integrate people so that they all have the same access and they learn to grow up with one another.
So what is he saying here? So wait a minute. You all want to integrate people so they all have the same access and they learn to grow up with one another? What does that sound like?
It sounds pretty racist.
This is what he's saying. This is what you guys want to do. You want to integrate people so that they all have the same access and they learn to grow up with one another? Because that's a rejection of the whole move. Go ahead, G. Finish it. I don't need to read it.
And all the rest is a rejection of the whole movement of black pride, is a rejection of the entire.
So how is it a rejection? What they can't be have pride. They can't be and still be integrated. They can't be proud of their ancestry. They can't be proud of who they are. They can't be proud of. What does he mean by that? Is a rejection of the entire black awareness, black pride. That's what it sounds to me like, doesn't it?
It sounds like he's using that as well. You know, they're not going to want to do this anyway because, you know, let's face it, they want to be proud of their black movement. So, you know, let's make sure that they stay together.
That's
so they can be
right.
proud, right?
Exactly.
That's what he's saying.
We're going to integrate people so they all have the same access and they learn to grow up with one another? Well, yeah. Isn't that the whole idea of a melting pot that the country's supposed to be? Go ahead.
Black awareness concept where black is beautiful, black culture should be studied, and a cultural awareness of the importance of their own identity, their own individuality. And I think that's a healthy, solid proposal.
But he paints it as like, oh no, this is great. If we just, keep them together so they'll be happy and proud together. But not in his yard.
Not in my backyard.
I mean, this is 1975. Again, this is not, sounds like a long time ago but not that long ago. So when you hear him say things like, you ain't black, and it's really because he hasn't moved. He hasn't forgotten this stuff. He hasn't moved that far away from this kind of talk.
No, he just suppresses it when he's out in public. But sometimes, because of his declining mental state, the stuff starts to tumble out. And that's why they got to draw him back in and put him back in the basement, stuff him back in the basement. Can't let him talk. He's revealing himself. We can't have him reveal himself.
And once again, we went through his history of, we've gone through the Democratic Party history, the party of slavery, the party of Jim Crow, the party of segregation. And we've also gone through his history with Robert Byrd, who it's amazing that I don't hear anything about any talk of him being whitewashed from history. Statues coming down, things being forgotten, things being written off about Robert Byrd, who was the Grand Kleagle of the KKK at one point, who rose to be Senate Majority Leader for the Democratic Party. And Joe Biden speaks of as a very good friend. Barack Obama, same thing.
Hillary
I heard
Clinton,
him,
too.
Yeah, they all utilized the guy like he was, like we're supposed to forget all of that part. But all this other stuff now, we're told, has to go away. But not them. The whole party should go away. If that, by their own standard.
Yeah.
By the way. By their own standard. Not my standard. Their own standard of what they're saying. Nancy Pelosi's just taking down pictures in the Capitol of four former speakers of the House, all Democrats, which they conveniently leave out. But there she is. I played it for you. There she is on the floor of the floor of the House of Representatives when Robert Byrd passed away, extolling the virtues of the man. It's okay it's all of this stuff is good for thee, good for me, but not for thee. With all of it. So there's part one of Joe Biden talking like a segregationist in 1975. So just to finish off on this article from the Washington Examiner. Well, before I even finish it, so if Kamala Harris is his choice for VP, she has to be asked about these clips. She has to be asked about them. She attacked him for the issue, but not about specifically what he said here. She has to be asked about it.